Good morning. This morning I don't have a guitar, and I hope you guys are doing great this week. It's been kind of a crazy week, and so I normally have done a couple of live streams by now, but I didn't quite get a chance to. And part of the things that are going on is I'm doing a lot of updates to my site. If you are a member of my Patreon, you might have noticed that some of my links aren't working, and I had a plugin recently crash on me, so I was working on getting all of the things attached to that plugin moved around to other places, and then trying to figure out a solution to fix that. But so I've been pretty busy this week, but a couple of the things that are going to be coming up. Over time, since I am trying to get in here and live stream every morning, I'm gonna release a schedule for you guys so that you can kind of see what I have coming up, and kind of plan for when those are going to come out. I'm also going to try to release a schedule on my actual video releases in the future too. And so those are some things that are coming up. And this video that I'm doing right now has been a video that I wanted to talk about for a while. And I'm calling it music cancel culture. Now, cancel culture, um, in general, we hear about it all the time. Facebook, social media, um, and normally it's canceling something because of something that someone did. Like they did something that you don't agree with, and so I'm not going to buy their stuff anymore, support them anymore, whatever. Um, but one thing that I've been thinking since all of this has come about is that music has had cancel culture for way before any of this ever happened. I mean, even way down to music education in this country or in any country. Um, at one time, somebody was looking at music and decided what was of worth and what should be taught to you. And so a lot of things were left out of music education that are currently trying to be fixed, but we've still got a long way to go. And so a lot of what you learned in school about music wasn't the complete picture of what music actually was. For one thing, it left out popular music altogether. And then to begin with, it left out jazz. And so now we're trying to correct that, but we're still not there yet. And honestly, that's not even what I'm talking about, but I do think that that has something to do with what I'm talking about. I'm talking about us not listening to certain things because it does not mesh with the society that we've created around our music. So, for instance, if you are a heavy metal fan, you're probably not going to be listening to Billie Eilish. Um, Not necessarily because you don't like the music, um, but because based on the society created around your music, it's not cool to listen to that stuff. And somewhere along the way, we got into this idea that music is some sort of a competition. And I think that it's partly to do with the fact that we're defending our turf. We want to feel I guess validated in our choices in music, and in order to feel validated sometimes we have to diminish something else. um And so a lot of music is pushed to the side in our everyday listening just because, it doesn't fit with the current society that, or the current style of music that we like. And a lot of times that even happens without us listening to it. We just hear about it and say, oh, well, that doesn't fit into what my society around my style of music says is okay. And so we just don't give it a chance. And that's my problem with it. And I think that we're missing a lot of things. And on top of that, we're entering an age where you can't really tell where one style of music ends and the other style begins. Like take country music for instance. You have these people that are like, well, I hate country music, and then well, I kind of like that old stuff. But I can't stand that new stuff. And what does that even mean, really? Like, what do you not like about it? Like, is it too poppy? Because if somebody listened to 1950s country music in 1950, they're probably saying the same thing. I can't stand this new country music. I can't stand the fact that it doesn't have a folk vibe. I can't stand this jazz that they're adding to folk music because, I mean, hey, that's basically what country music started to do. And then in the 90s, they started to add rock flavor into it. And so, what are we even talking about there? And then on top of that, you've also got the other one that, in my opinion, is even worse. And that's the times when we find an artist that we really like, and then they make an album and we consider them as sold out. So they sold out, whatever that means. It means that they made an album that you didn't like. That's really what it means. Nothing else. And they made an album that possibly people that used to not be in the group that listened to this artist, they're listening to them and like, "Hey, you're not a part of our group." And so you get upset about that and then you're like, I'm not going to listen to this guy anymore. He sold out. And most of the time, that's not true. And even if it was true, it's a business. They're making a living doing this. And I think that in all of this, every single time we look at something and we say, what I listen to is better, or what they are doing is worse or not worthy of being heard, I think that we're not only doing their music a disservice, but I also think that we're doing our learning and our growth a disservice. Um, because looking at different styles of music, they have different strengths. And so, yeah, the musicianship in pop may not be the same as the musicianship in prog. Yeah, the musicianship in certain types of country may not be the same as other types of country. And so I think that's a lot of the times where we draw the line. We look at talent as a judge for what's good or what's bad. And I think that we should start to turn it around. And this is sort of the way I hope I try to look at things. And oftentimes I don't. Um, but I try to find in all of the things that I listen to, what is good about this? What are the good things about this? So, like, a lot of times, what I find is that the music that I don't get when I see a performance of that style of music, I get it more. A lot of times when you have a style of music that you just don't get or don't like or whatever, and then you see the performance, it's because they're great performers that they're so popular. And that to me is worthy of looking at, studying, and learning from. And I think that if we started giving more music a chance, especially music that for one reason or another, the music that we have listened to have led us to look at that style and say, yeah, I'm going to pass on it. I'm not even going to listen to it, but I'm going to pass on it. Maybe go back and listen to that stuff and see if you can find some things that you can take from it and learn from it. You don't have to listen to it all the time, but maybe try to take some things from it and learn from it. Since I've created this channel, there have been so many requests that have come in from artists that I don't listen to. And every time I listen to them, I'm like, wow, this is, how have I not heard of this person before, or this song before? And it's always fun to try something new. So my challenge for the end of this video really is to try something new. Look at a new song. And on top of that, let's say that we have created this term guilty pleasures, and like we created around donuts and pancakes, and I think We're Alone Now by Tiffany and Rick Astley, and like these bands that we call them guilty pleasures because you're not supposed to like them, but you do. Whoever said that you're not supposed to like them? And why are they a guilty pleasure? And why can't we listen to them in the daylight? Why do we have to go to the corner of our room and listen to them? And what if we like one style and it doesn't quite get along with another style? Why do we have to only listen to one thing? Why can't we listen to a wide variety of things and enjoy them all? I'm not quite sure. But I know that as I listen to things, I'm not going to box myself in. And I hope that you don't either, because there's so many styles out there. There's so many new things happening. And I hope that you can find enjoyment in a lot of different styles. And I hope that you're finding new artists all the time and not just listening to the same old things. And if you are, I challenge you, just listen to some other stuff. Find some new things, and don't talk bad about other people's music, because, yeah, maybe some of these artists didn't try as hard as you would like them to, but when people listen to things, it's a deep emotional connection. And when you talk bad about somebody else's music, you're talking bad about them. And so that's really what my heart was on this. And if you're watching this and you've experienced this, leave it in the comments below, good or bad. This is the way I feel, and I hope that it spoke to some of you guys. And be looking for some posts in the next couple of weeks. I think I'm going to do my Thursdays where I kind of talk like this. I talk about some of the things that are on my mind, give updates and things like that. So most of them are going to be guitar-less Thursdays. And then Mondays are going to be more like beginner Mondays. So like if you're a beginner, that's the place to go. I'm going to do a series on chords where I go over chords from each key. I'm going to start with some of the easiest ones to play with open chords and talk about how to use those. I'm going to revisit some of the capo things that I talked about in videos past. And so I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you with that chord lesson on Monday.